crying with that neck. She looks just like a giraffe.
Have you ever felt fear so deep that even the wind seemed to whisper your name? That's exactly how Adaora felt that night when the knock came. My beautiful viewers, before we continue, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're enjoying this story. Your support means the world to me. Now, let's continue where we stopped. After the strange knock, the wind howled like an angry spirit outside, though there was nothing supernatural about it, just the weight of the coming rain. The small hut trembled as Adaora stood still, her hands clutching the edge of the window she'd just shut. Her breath came in short gasps, and her long, graceful neck quivered slightly under the flickering light of the oil lamp. Behind her, Nenna stood near the door, one hand pressed against her chest, whispering a silent prayer. Then, knock, knock, knock. The sound came again, louder this time, echoing through the storm. Adaora turned slowly toward Nenna. "Mama, should I open it?" she whispered. Nenna's eyes darted toward the door. "No, my child, wait." But the knocking didn't stop. 3 slow, steady knocks, almost too deliberate to be from the wind. The lamp flickered again. With trembling fingers, Adaora took a cautious step forward. "Maybe it's Obinna," she said softly. "Maybe he came to check on us." Nenna hesitated, her heart pounding. "Whoever it is, may God protect us," she murmured. Adaora swallowed hard and reached for the wooden handle. She pushed gently. The door creaked open just enough for the cold wind to rush in and scatter the flame of the lamp. And then she froze. Standing at the doorway, soaked from the rain, was Obinna. His shirt clung to his chest, his hair drenched, and his eyes full of worry. "Adaora," he said, voice low, "are you all right?" Adaora gasped in relief, her hand flying to her chest. "Obinna, you scared me." He stepped inside, dripping water onto the floor. "I came when I heard the storm was heading this way. I wanted to make sure you and Mama Nenna were safe." Nenna let out a deep breath and smiled faintly. "Ah, my son, you almost made us faint." Obinna chuckled softly, rubbing his hands together to warm himself. Adaora hurried to relight the lamp, and as the flame returned, its golden light revealed how pale she looked, her long, slender neck glistening with raindrops and tension easing slowly. They sat together as the storm roared outside. Nenna prepared warm water and poured it into a bowl for Obinna to wash his hands. Adaora quietly offered him a cloth. He noticed how her hands trembled. "Did something happen before I came?" he asked. Adaora hesitated. "No, just the wind. It felt strange." Obinna studied her face. "You've been through enough, Adaora. Don't let fear take your peace." His words sank deep. No one ever spoke to her that way, not since her childhood, when whispers of the girl with the long neck filled every corner of the village. They ate silently, roasted yam and palm oil Nenna had made earlier. The sound of rain hitting the roof filled the pauses between them. When the storm finally passed, Obinna stood to leave. "I should go before it's too late," he said softly. Adaora followed him to the door, the lamplight shining on her delicate face and elegant neck. He turned to her, voice low. "Don't open your door for anyone at night again, Adaora." "I won't," she whispered. He smiled faintly, then walked into the misty darkness. Adaora watched him disappear until the night swallowed him whole. The morning after. The next morning, the air was clear and fresh. The rain had washed away the dust, leaving the village bright and calm. Adaora stepped outside to fetch water from the clay pot near the door. Her long neck stretched gracefully as she looked up at the clear blue sky, calm after the chaos of the night. But calm doesn't last long in a village full of tongues. By midday, rumors had already begun to spread. Did you hear? Obinna spent the night at Nena's hut. They say the long-necked girl has trapped him with pity. Poor Amara, her man is gone. The whispers followed Adaora wherever she went. When she reached the market to buy palm oil, she could feel their eyes. Women paused mid-conversation. Some smiled mockingly. Others whispered just enough for her to hear. There she is, the giraffe girl. She thinks because Obinna visits her, she's special. Adaora bit her lip, fighting back tears. She clutched her basket tighter and hurried away. Meanwhile, in another part of the village, Amara sat in her hut, surrounded by her two closest friends. Her eyes were red, her wrapper twisted around her waist carelessly. "He spent the night there," one friend said. "The whole village saw him." Amara's chest rose and fell with anger. "After everything I did for him? Obinna doesn't deserve you," the other friend muttered. "And that girl, that thing with the long neck, she's making you look foolish." Amara slammed her hand on the wooden stool. "I'll show them, foolish," she shouted. Her friends exchanged glances, knowing that tone in her voice. That evening, as the sun sank, Amara walked out of her hut with a new plan burning in her eyes. That night, Adaora sat outside, helping Nena slice vegetables. The moon hung low, silver light spilling across the compound. "Mama," Adaora said softly, "do you think Obinna truly likes me?" Nena smiled gently. "He has shown it in every way, my child. Don't let fear make you doubt love." Adaora nodded, though her heart still wrestled with insecurity. She touched her long neck lightly, sighing. Suddenly, a soft voice came from the gate. "Good evening, Adaora." She looked up and froze. It was Amara. Behind her stood the same two friends from before, their faces hard and mocking. "What do you want?" Adaora asked quietly. Amara smiled coldly. "Just to talk. Can't I visit a friend?" Nena stepped forward. "You're not welcome here at this hour." Amara ignored her. "I just wanted to see the famous giraffe girl up close. Tell me, Adaora, does that neck help you see men from a distance before they reach your hut?" The girls behind her laughed cruelly. Adora's chest tightened. Her lips trembled, but she said nothing. Nena's face hardened. "Leave my compound now!" Amara stepped closer, lowering her voice. "He may like you now, but remember this: pity doesn't last forever." Then she turned sharply and walked away, her friends following like shadows. Adaora's tears spilled silently. For the next few days, Adaora avoided the market. Every corner held whispers. Every smile hid judgment. She spent her mornings helping Nena at home and her evenings by the stream where she could cry freely. Obinna still visited, sometimes with gifts, sometimes just to sit in silence beside her. He'd tell her stories about his childhood, trying to make her laugh, but each time she smiled, a part of her still ached. Then, one morning, everything changed. Obinna arrived with a small, folded note in his hand. His face looked tense. "What's wrong?" Adaora asked, noticing his silence. He handed her the paper. "It's from Amara." Adaora unfolded it slowly. The handwriting was sharp, angry. "If you think Obinna will choose you over me, you are mistaken. Everyone will know the truth about you soon. You can hide your face, but not your curse." Adaora's hand trembled. "What truth?" she whispered. Obinna sighed. "She's lying. Don't believe her." But her mind was already spinning. Later that day, Adaora walked to the stream again, the place that always brought her peace. She stared into her reflection, her long, beautiful neck shining under the sun. But now she saw shame instead of beauty. She didn't notice Amara's two friends hiding behind the bushes, watching. As Adaora bent to lift her pot, a sharp sound cracked through the air. Thud. Something hit her back, a stick. She stumbled forward, crying out in pain. Before she could turn, another strike landed. "Let's see if your long neck can save you now," one of the girls shouted, laughing. Adaora fell to her knees, clutching her head, tears mixing with dust. "Stop it!" she screamed. "What did I do to you?" They only laughed harder, throwing sand at her. Suddenly, a loud voice thundered from behind. "Enough!" It was Obinna. He ran toward them, fury in his eyes. The girls dropped their sticks and fled, screaming. He knelt beside Adaora, lifting her gently. Her long neck trembled as she sobbed, dust and tears staining her face. "Shh," he whispered, holding her close. "No one will ever hurt you again." When they reached home, Nenena rushed out, panic written all over her face. "Jesus, what happened?" "She was attacked," Obinna said, voice shaking. Nenena helped clean Adaora's wounds, her tears falling freely. "My child, what did you deserve this cruelty?" Adaora could barely speak. Maybe I should leave this village, Mama." "No," Nenena said firmly. "You are not running from wicked people. You are stronger than them." That night, Adaora lay awake, staring at the cracked roof. Her bandaged hand rested on her chest. She thought of Obinna's kindness, Amara's hatred, and the laughter that haunted her dreams. But beneath all that pain, something inside her began to stir. Not anger, but courage. The next morning, the sun rose bright and golden. Adaora stood outside, her long neck tall and graceful, her bandaged arm against her chest. Nena watched her silently, pride in her eyes. Villagers passing by stopped and stared, but this time Adaora didn't look away. She smiled faintly, her tears dried, her spirit unbroken. From a distance, Obinna approached with a small bag in his hand. He said, "I got something for you." She smiled. "You've done enough already." He shook his head. "Not enough until everyone sees you for who you truly are. Beautiful and strong." The camera of fate seemed to freeze on that moment. Two souls standing side by side, while the world that once mocked her began to see her differently. The days that followed the attack moved slowly. Adaora healed physically, but inside her heart a storm still raged. The bruises faded, yet the shame burned fresh whenever she heard footsteps outside the hut. Nena never left her side. She made herbs, bathed her forehead at night, and whispered, "My daughter, don't let their wickedness steal your peace. One day you will smile again." Sometimes Obinna came quietly in the evenings. He would sit on the wooden stool outside and tell jokes about his work at the farm, trying to make her laugh. Every time she smiled, he felt his chest lighten, but he also saw the pain behind her eyes. One afternoon, while she sat under the mango tree, Obinna approached holding a folded cloth. He said gently, "Ada, I brought something for you." She looked up, her long, graceful neck glinting under the sunlight. "You've done enough already." He smiled and opened the cloth to reveal a small necklace made of cowries and tiny beads. "I made it myself. You don't have to hide who you are, Adaora. You're special, and the world should see that." Her eyes softened as he tied it gently around her neck. For the first time in many days, Adaora felt warmth that wasn't from the sun, a warmth that came from hope. The next market day, Adaora walked beside Nena again. Her long neck stood tall, her wrapper neat, and her hair tied beautifully. As she entered the market, the usual whispers began. But this time, she didn't bow her head. She greeted the fruit seller first, then the women by the yam stalls. Her smile was calm, steady. Some of the mockers fell silent, others looked away. Even laughter loses power when the one it targets no longer trembles. From across the stalls, Amara stood watching, her anger boiling. Her friends muttered beside her, "She still dares to come here?" Amara clenched her fists. "Let her. The day will come when she will hide her face again." But inside, her jealousy was turning to desperation. She had lost Obinna, and every whisper of the villagers reminded her. Later that week, Obinna visited Nena's hut again. He brought palm wine and roasted plantain. As they ate together, he turned to Nena. "Mama, I've made up my mind. I want to marry Adaora." Nena almost dropped the cup in her hand. "Marry," she repeated, eyes wide. Adaora's heart skipped. "Obinna." He nodded firmly. "I've thought about it. I know the village will talk, but I don't care. I love her." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Nena smiled through tears. "May God bless you, my son. You've seen beyond what others mock." Adaora couldn't stop the tears streaming down her cheeks. She reached for his hand. "Are you sure? People may never stop talking." He squeezed her fingers gently. "Let them talk until their tongues tire. I'm sure." The rumor spread again. By dawn, the news had reached every corner of the village. "Obinna wants to marry the giraffe girl?" Some laughed, others called it madness. Elders shook their heads, whispering, "A man in love sees nothing." But others began to speak softly. "That girl, Adaora, she's humble. Maybe she deserves happiness." Change like sunrise begins quietly. That night, Amara sat outside her hut, staring into the fire.
Her two friends tried to comfort her, but their words sounded like noise. "So, Obinna will marry her," one said. Amara didn't answer. Her eyes glistened, face stiff. "Let him," she said finally, voice trembling. "Let him marry her, but he will remember me." She turned away, silent tears slipping down her cheeks. Her heart, which once full of pride, now felt like a cracked calabash, empty and cold. Weeks passed. Adaora's wounds healed completely. Each morning she helped Nena in the garden, her laughter returning like birds after rain. When she walked through the village now, fewer people whispered. Some even greeted her politely. Children who once mocked her now waved shyly. She began to realize that confidence itself is a kind of beauty. Once that afternoon, Obinna came again, his expression serious. "Ada, I'll be traveling to the next town for some weeks. I need to arrange things before we speak to the elders." Adaora nodded. "I'll wait." He brushed his thumb across her cheek. "Take care of Mama Nena and of yourself." She smiled softly. "I will." As he walked away, her long, elegant neck tilted slightly, eyes following him until he vanished down the path. That evening, she sat outside with Nena, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The wind was calm this time, not violent, just cool and gentle. Nena sighed. "You've grown into such a strong woman, Adaora." Adaora smiled, resting her head lightly on her shoulder. "Because you never gave up on me." They sat in silence for a while, the golden sky fading into night. But peace never lasts too long. As darkness settled, three figures moved quietly through the bushes near Nena's compound. Their whispers carried the sound of jealousy. It was Amara and her two friends again. From behind the fence, one of them murmured, "Are you sure about this?" Amara's eyes glowed with anger. "She took everything from me. Tonight I'll take her peace." She crept closer, shadows blending with the night. Inside, Adaora was just preparing for bed when the door creaked slightly from the wind. She looked up, her long neck catching the lamplight, her eyes narrowing. "Mama," she called softly. "Did you hear that?" Nena looked up from her mat. "Probably the goats." But Adaora wasn't sure. She stood, walked to the door, and listened. Only the rustling of leaves answered. Then a sudden loud bang shattered the silence, a stone thrown against the wall. Nena jumped. "Who's there?" Adaora's heart raced. She stepped forward, her shadow stretching long across the floor. From outside came the faint sound of laughter, sharp, cruel, and fading into the darkness. Adaora's eyes filled with tears. "Mama, why won't they leave me alone?" Nena pulled her close. "Because your light reminds them of their darkness, but you will not dim for them, Adaora." Adaora nodded slowly, her long neck trembling against her mother's shoulder. By sunrise, Adaora had made a decision. She washed her face, tied her hair neatly, and stepped outside as the first light touched the earth. The dew glistened on her skin, and her graceful neck rose tall like a symbol of strength. She walked toward the stream, not to fetch water, but to face her reflection one more time. The same face looked back at her, but now she saw something different, courage. She whispered, I am not my pain. I am not their laughter. I am Adaora. A tear rolled down her cheek, but this time it was not from sadness, it was from release. Behind her, Nenna stood quietly, watching with pride. That evening, the sky turned orange once more. Adaora and Nenna sat outside their hut, the wind gentle, the village calm. The same door that once echoed with fear now stood open, letting in the cool evening air. Nenna looked at her and smiled. Do you see, my daughter? Even after every storm, the wind learns to rest. Adaora smiled back. Her very long, slender human neck caught the last rays of the sun like polished bronze. Somewhere in the distance, Obinna's voice carried faintly as he returned down the road, calling her name. She turned toward the sound, her eyes bright, her heart full, and for the first time, she didn't feel like the girl the world mocked. She felt like the woman destiny had been shaping all along. Big love to all my amazing viewers. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more powerful African stories. Trust me, part 3 will shock you. You won't believe what happens next.